Today's Chumash is, we're holding Parshas Bereshis, the third portion, Yom Shlishi. We're holding now Perek Beis. Pasuk Chof. Vayikra Adam Shemais. Adam called names. Who did he call the names? L'chol behema, for all the cattle, ula'if, and for the birds. Hashemayim, of the heavens, l'chol chayas hasada, and all the beasts of the field. Adam leimotza ezer kenegdoi, but for a man he did not find a helpmate for him. Pasuk Chav Aleph, vayapel Adonai Elohim tardema. So Hashem caused a deep sleep al ha'adam, on Adam. Vayishan, and he slept. Vayikach achas mitzalesav, and he took one of his sides. Vayizgar basar tachtena, and he closed the flesh in its place. Zog Rashi ula Adam leimotza ezer. What does it mean? And to man he did not find vayapil Hashem Elokim tardema. Rashi says kishevi and hevi and the fun of komin v'min zachar nekeva, that when he brought them, the animals, he brought them before every species, male and female. Omar l'kulam yish ben zug v'li ein ben zug. So Adam said, everyone has a mate, but I do not have a mate. So what happened? Miyad v'yapil, immediately Hashem caused him to fall. Mitzalesev, what does it mean on his sides? Mistad of his sides. Kamai, ulitzela hamishkan, like it says, and for the sides of the mishkan. So we see tzela means sides. Zer sha'amru, and this is what the Chacham say, Shnei partzufim nivro, that they were created with two faces, that Adam and Chava were created with two faces. Vayizgar, and he closed. Rashi says, Mekoim hachasach, this is the place of the incision. Vayishan vayikach, he slept and he took. Shle'yirach hatichas hapasar shememenu nivris v'tisbaz alav. Rashi says, why did he slept and he took it? Why? So he should not see the piece of flesh for which she was created and then become repulsive to him. Next pasuk, Chav Beis. Vayiven Adonai Elohim es hatzela. Hashem built the side that he had taken, asher lokach min Adam leisha, which he had taken from man into a woman. Vayiviah Adam, and he brought her to Adam, to man. Rashi vayiven, and he built. Kibinyan, this is like a building. Rechova milmato uktsarim milmayla. It's like a building which is broad at the bottom and narrow at the top. Kibinyan, like a building. Rechova milmato uktsarim milmayla v'kabel avlav ke'etzu shachitim. Broad at the bottom, narrow at the top, so that she can carry the fetus. This is like a storehouse of wheat, which is broad at the bottom and narrow on top, so that the burden should not weigh on its walls. So Rashi, vayiven es hatzela leisha, and he built the side into woman. Lius leisha literally means to a woman. Kamai vayas oise gidon le'ephod, as it says, and Gideon made it into an ephod. Pasuk Chav Gimel. Vayemer ha'adam. So Adam said, Zois hapam, this time etzem ma'atzomai, it's the bones of my flesh, ubasar mibsari, and flesh of my flesh. Zois yikara isha, this one shall be called isha, woman, kimi ish lakacha zois, because this one was taken from ish. So Rashi Zois hapam, melamesh about Adam al kol behema b'chaya. What does it mean this time? So Rashi says, this teaches us that Adam came on to all the animals and the beasts, and and he was not satisfied until he found Chava. This one shall be called Isha. Why? Because from Ish. So Rashi says Lashon Neifel. One expression coincides with the other. In other words, the words Ish and the word Isha have the same root. She says, from here we learn that the world was created with Lashon Kodesh. Therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother, and he shall cleave to his wife, V'hayu lebasar echad, and they shall become one flesh. So Rashi alkein yazav ish. Therefore, a man shall leave. Ruach Hakodesh Amra. This is the Ruach Hakodesh saying, La'asral b'nei neach haroyis, to aser, to prohibit the forbidden aroyis of b'nei neach. Basar echad, to one flesh. Havlad neitza al yidei shneim. The fetus is formed by both of them. V'sham nasab saram echad, and there, and the child, their flesh becomes one. Chafei vayu shneim aruman. They were both naked. Hu ha'adam va'ishtei. Adam and his wife. He's Beishishu, and they were not ashamed. So Rashi, why weren't they ashamed? Well, he's Beishishu. So Yoidim derech tznius lahavchem and tevlara. They did not know the way of modesty to distinguish between good and evil. And even though knowledge was given to Adam to call the creatures by name, he was not given the Yetzer Hara until he ate from the tree. And Yetzer Hara entered into him. And he knew the difference between good and evil. Perek Gimel Pasuk Aleph. The snake was, literally means naked. He was cunning. More than all the beasts of the field. Asher asa adinei Elohim, which Hashem made, Vayimer el ha'isha, and he said to the woman, Af ki omar Elohim. So the snake said to Chava, did Hashem indeed say, Leiseichlu mikol ha'etz hagan? Did Hashem say, Af ki omar Elohim leiseichlu mikol ha'etz hagan? Did Hashem indeed say, you shall not eat of any of the trees of the garden? So Rashi v'anocha shaya adam. So Rashi says, Ma inyan zelakan. What is the connection of this matter here? What's the connection between what we said in Perek Beis Tava Nachash? So Rashi says, Teda should have put together, and he made for Adam and his wife clothing, and he dressed them. But it teaches you as a result of what plan the snake threw on them. The snake saw them having relationships before everyone's eyes, and he desired her. What does it mean the snake was cunning more than all? The feet are based on his cunningness and his greatness was his downfall. It was cunning more than all, and so it was cunning more than all, and it was cursed more than all. Rashi Afki Amar did indeed say, did he say to you, you shall not eat any? Even though he saw them eating from other fruits. So even though he saw them eating other fruits, the snake spoke to her at length in order that she should answer him and come to speak about the Chitas. So Chava said, of the fruit of the trees of the garden we may eat. However, but of the fruit of the tree that is in the garden, Hashem said, you should not eat. You should not touch it, lest you will die. So Rashi, she added to the command, and therefore, because she added something that she was not told, she came to diminish it. This is what the pasuk initially says: do not add to his words. Pasuk Dalet. And the Nachash said to the woman, Loi mais tamusan, you will surely not die. Rashi, he pushed her until she touched the tree. Amar Law, he said to her, just as there is no death in touching, so there's no death in eating. Hey, on the day that you eat from the tree, your eyes will be open, and you're going to be like angels, knowing good and evil. So the snake was saying, every craftsman hates his fellow craftsman. Hashem ate from the tree and created the world. And you will be like the angels, creating the worlds. So Chava saw that the tree was good for food. And that it was the delight to the eyes. And the tree was desirable to make one wise. And she took of its fruit and she ate it. And she gave also to her husband with her, and he also ate it. Rashi Isha, and the woman saw, she understood the words of the Nachash, and they appealed to her, so she believed him. Kiteva ate, to be like angels. As he said to her, and your eyes will be open. And the tree was desirable to make one wise, as he said to her, knowing good and evil. And she gave also to her husband, lest she die, and he live and marry, to marry someone else. Gam, what does it mean? Also, the rabbis to include the cattle and the beast. Pasuk Zayin, but the bakachna shneim, and the eyes of both of them were open. V'yedu, and they knew that they were naked. Vayispru ali teino, and they sewed fig leaves. Yasulhem chageris, and made themselves girdles. The and they were open in the Torah speaking, referring to wisdom, not the actual vision. And the end of the psukim will prove this. And they knew that they were naked. Even a blind man knows when he is naked. So what does it mean? And they knew that they were naked. The Eibishter gave them one commandment in their possession, and they became like denuded of it. Ali te'ina, fig leaves, hua ish achal b'meno. This is the tree that they had eaten. But davish niskalpu b'in nitaknu. With that which they had sinned, they were rectified. The other trees prevented them from taking their leaves. So now, why was the tree not identified? Hashem does not wish to grieve any creature, so that the Eibishter should not make it a shame and say this is the tree, because of this tree the world suffered. And they heard the voice of Hashem going into the garden to the direction of the sun. And Chava and Adam hid from Hashem in the midst of the trees of the garden. What does it mean? And they heard Yishmu Drasha Agoda Rabbim Kvarsidim Rabbisinal Bereshis Midrashis. There are many midrashim, and Chazal already arranged them in the proper order in Bereshis Rabbah and other midrashim. Rashi says, and I have come only to teach the simple meaning. I'm only going to clarify the words of the psukim, each word in its proper ways. What does it mean that they heard? What did they heard? They heard the voice of Hashem, which was going in the garden. To the direction of the sun. To the direction in which the sun sets. And this is in the west. For towards evening the sun is in the west. And they sing in the 10th hour. Pasuk Tes. Hashem called to man. And he said, where are you? Hashem obviously knew where they were. But the only reason why he said Ayaka was in order to enter into conversation with them. So lest he be afraid to answer if he should punish him suddenly. Also, when it came to Cain and Hevel, he says, "Where's your brother Hevel?" What does he say? Who are these men with you? Why? He knew this. The purpose of entering a conversation with them. Says with Chizkiah in regards to the shluchim of Merech Biladlan. And he said, I heard your voice of the guardian. And I was afraid, because I am naked, so therefore I hid. And he said, who told you that you are naked? Have you eaten from the tree of which I commanded you not to eat? So Rashi, from where do you know what shame there is in standing naked? It's mia. It's like an interrogation. It's a question. Adam said, the woman which you gave me, she gave me of the tree. So I ate as a Rashi Shenasati Madi can't kafir beteva. Here, Adam showed his ingratitude to Hashem. So Hashem said to the woman, what is it that you have done? So Chava said, the serpent enticed me, so I ate. As a Rashi, what does it mean? Hishiani? Hitiani, deceived me. Let Chizkiyo not deceive you. So Hashem said to the Nachash, because you have done this, you will be the most cursed from all the behemoths, and all the cattle, the beast and the cattle and the beast. You will walk on your belly, and you will eat the dust of the days of your life. So because you have done this, from here we learn that we do not intercede in favor of those who entice people for Avodah Zarah. For had he asked, why did you do this? He could have said that famous expression, the words of the master and the words of the Talmud, who do you obey? So Adam and Chava should have obeyed the Eibishter rather than the Nachash. So we see when it comes to Avodah Zarah, we don't see such a svara. We don't try to be mahapich schus for our maces. So Rashi mikol be'imah mikol chayes asada im be'imah eskalka machayle kol shegin. So Rashi says, if he was cursed more than the cattle, who's, as we know, they last longer, so he was surely cursed more than the beast. The Chacham established this medrash in Bereshis. Teach us that that a serpent lasts for 7 years. Rashi says that the Nachash had legs, but they were cut off. And I will place hatred between you and the woman, between your seed and between her seed. He will crush your head, and you will bite his heel. So Rashi, you intended that the man should die when he would eat first, and you will marry Chava. And you came to Chava first only because women are easily enticed and they know how to entice their husbands. Therefore I shall place hatred. Shuvcha, what does it mean? Shuvcha, he will crush your head. He will crush you. As the pasuk says, I crushed you, which is translated by the Targum. He will bite your heel. You will not stand upright, and you will bite him on the heel. And there you will kill him. The expression teshufenu is like he blew nashif on them. When a snake comes to bite, he blows it with a sort of hiss. And since the two expressions coincide, they sound alike. The Torah uses the expression in both cases. Pasuk Tes Zayin El Isha Amar, to the woman he said, Harbe Arba Itzvein Chovein, I will surely increase your sorrow and your pregnancy. Bets of Tail the Vanim, in pain you shall bear children. El Isha Trukosich, and to your husband you will desire, you shall buck, and he will rule you. So Rashi Tzveinchaz Atzar Gidel Banim, this is the pain of having children. Varenchaz Atzar Ibra, this is the pain of pregnancy. Bets of Tail the Banim Atzar Vlad, this refers to the pain of childbirth. What does it mean? And to your husband you will desire the tashmish for intimacy. Rafa became ein loch meitzach l'tava bepeh, but nevertheless you will not have the chutzpah to demand it with your mouth. Alolim shel bach, but he will rule over you. Hakeli mena will let me make. Everything is from him and not from you. Rashi chukosich, your desire, ta'avosich, your desire, k'mei nefesh keika, a yearning soul. Yud zayin l'adam amar ki shamat l'kei lishtefayad, and to Adam he said, because you listened to your wife's voice, v'techem and you ate from the tree. Asher to b'sicha lemer, which I command you, saying, Lo teichel mimenu, do not eat from it. Arura adama ba'vodecha, you shall cursed be the ground for your sake. B'tzeving teichaleno, with toil you are going to eat. Kol yimechayecha, all the days of your life. So Rashi, Ma'ilachad v'adam arunim, it will bring up cursed things for you. Kugan zvuvim parishim and amalim, like flies, fleas, and ants. Mashal yetzet tabasdov v'habriyos mekalis shadayim she'enak mehem. This can be compared to the person who falls into evil ways, and people curse the the breasts from which it suckled. Pasik Yud Ches, the Kate V'Darder Tasmiach Lach, and he will cause thorns and thistles to grow for you. V'chatas Esav Asada, and you shall eat the herbs of the fields of Rashi. Kate V'Darder Tasmiach Lach, Aretz Kishet Zerah Mizraim, the earth when you sow it with various pieces of seeds. Tasmiach Kate V'Darder Kunkas V'Kovavis will sprout thorns and thistles, and these different artichokes and cardoons, and they're which are edible only through preparation. And you shall eat the herbs of the field. What type of curse is this? The bracha says that, behold, I have given you every seed-bearing herb. But what does it say here? It refers to the beginning of the section, cursed to be the ground for your sake, with toil shall you eat of it. After you toil, it will cause thorns and thistles to grow for you. When you sow with legumes or garden vegetables, it will cause thorns and thistles and other grasses of the field to grow for you, and you shall have no choice but to eat them. Zagrashi is the pasuk Yutes. Yutes. With the sweat of your face you shall eat bread. Until you return to the ground. For you were taken therefore. For your dust, you're going to return to dust. After you toil with it very much. Adam called his wife Chava, because she was the mother of all wives. The Torah goes back to the previous topic, which and man named names and interrupted only to teach you that through the giving of the names, Chava was mated to him. As the Torah says, but for man he did not find a helpmate opposite him. Therefore, what happened? That therefore he caused a deep sleep to fall. And since the Torah wrote, and they were naked, it tells us about the section of the Parsha of the Nachash, because he saw her naked and saw them engaging in bia, he desired her and came upon them with a machshava and with trickiness. Chava, Nefel Aloshin Chaya, this coincides with the expression of Chaya. Shemachaya as well they say, because she gives life to her offsprings. As it says, for what does a man have Loshin Chaya? Hashem made for Adam and his wife shirts of skin. When he dressed, it was Rashi Kostas some say that they were as smooth as fingernails fastened over their skins. Other Savishim Darabam and Air, other people say that they were material that came from the skin. Some people say that it came from skin, like the wool of rabbits, which is soft and warm, and he made them shirts from it.